this is a specific heat. The quantity of heat required to increase the temperature of unit mass of a substance by 1 degree centigrade is known as a specific heat. Now, suppose if you take 1 gram of water at 12 degrees Celsius, if you want to increase the temperature from 12 to 13 degrees Celsius, I need to supply some heat energy. The heat energy required to increase the temperature of this 1 gram of water by 1 degree centigrade is known as specific heat of water. The specific heat of water is found to be exactly 1 calorie. Now, to define this one, while defining, this is the quantity of heat required to increase the temperature of unit mass of substance by 1 degree Celsius is known as specific heat. So, from this, what is the SI unit and dimension formula for this specific heat? Specific heat is energy is measured in joules, mass is measured in kgs, change in temperature is measured in degree Celsius or degree Kelvin. So now this can be written as joule per kg per Kelvin is the SI unit. Now, what is the dimension formula for specific heat? The dimension formula for specific heat is energy ml square T minus 2 mass m and change in temperature, or this one is this. So from this you can write L square T minus 2 K minus 1 is the dimensional formula for specific heat. But if you see this one, specific heat of water, it is 1 calorie per gram per degree Celsius. This is in CGS units. So the CGS unit of specific heat is this one. Here I am writing this as calorie per gram per degree Celsius. Now, 4180 joules per kg per Kelvin. But in general, we take this as 4200 joules per kg per Kelvin. Whenever this specific heat of water is not given any problem, you take it as 4200 joules per kg per Kelvin. Now, if you take the specific heat of some other substances, it is found that for ice, the specific heat of ice is given as 0.5 calorie per gram per degree centigrade. That means if you take 1 gram of ice at minus 12 degrees to increase to minus 11 degrees, here increase of 1 degree centigrade, half calorie heat is enough. Half calorie of heat is enough to increase 1 gram of ice temperature by 1 degree centigrade. Similarly, the specific heat of copper, it is found that it is only 0.1 calorie per gram per degree centigrade. Now, if you consider all these solids and liquids, water has the highest specific heat. So, among solids and liquids, water has highest specific heat. If you consider 1 unit mass, then specific heat unit is joule per kg per Kelvin. Suppose if you write this for 1 mole of the substance, now then the specific heat of a gas, we will denote this specific heat S only for solids and liquids. For gases, we will write this as specific heat C. This is the quantity of heat required for 1 mole of gas to increase its temperature by 1 degree Celsius. So the specific heat of a gas is denoted with the C, and here we can write Q by mu delta T. But a gas can be heated in two different modes. A solid and liquid can be heated directly, but a gas can be heated at a constant pressure as well as a constant volume. So if you define specific heat at constant pressure, we will denote this as a Cp, and if you define specific heat at constant volume, we will denote this with the Cv. Now, so in this case, what is Cp, what is Cv for a gas? A gas, if you take a gas here, let us say a gas is taken in a container having some temperature theta 1. If you want to increase the temperature to theta 2 degrees Celsius, here the volume of the container is constant. If the volume is constant and if you heat it, it is easy for us to increase the temperature of this one. Why? Because these molecules cannot move away. They will strike the surfaces of this walls of the container and they will stay only inside. In this case, we are supplying heat at a constant volume. So this is Cv. Similarly, suppose if you take a gas which is inside a container without the lid, and here temperature theta 1, if you want to increase to temperature theta 2, and here if you want to supply heat energy, I need to supply more heat energy. Why? Because as soon as I supply the heat energy, these molecules will spread and they will try to move away. Before they move away from this one, I need to heat this temperature. I need to increase the temperature by 1 degree Celsius. For that, I have to supply a lot of heat energy. So out of these two, Cp greater than Cv, that we will learn in thermodynamics lesson also. But before that, it is easy to increase the temperature of a gas at constant volume, but it is difficult to increase the temperature of the gas at constant pressure. Even though it is difficult, it is possible, as we are going to supply a lot of heat energy here. If you supply large quantity of heat here, then the quantity of heat to be supplied here to increase the temperature by 1 degree or given range of temperature will be more than this. Now, in this case, Cp can be written as Qp by nu dt, Cv is written as Qv by mu delta T. So this is the specific heat of a gas at constant volume. This is specific heat of a gas at constant pressure. So in these two, the dimensional formula will be same and SI unit will be same. Why? Because this is the quantity of heat supplied joule per mole per Kelvin. Similarly, for this also joule per mole per Kelvin. Now, this solids and liquids and gas, in some books they are using this as molar specific heat. Whenever the name is given as molar specific heat, so this is only for 1 mole of gas. That's why we are using this molar specific heat. So how to define molar specific heat at constant pressure and molar specific heat at constant volume? So to write this one, the definition, here I am going to write the molar specific heat at constant pressure. It is the quantity of heat supplied to 1 mole of a gas at a constant pressure to increase its temperature by 1 degree Celsius is known as molar specific heat of gas at constant pressure. So what is this Cv? This is the molar specific heat of a gas at constant volume. So how to define the molar specific heat of a gas at constant volume? So this is Cp, molar specific heat at constant pressure. Now, to define molar specific heat at constant volume, the only thing is you need to replace this pressure with the volume. So, the molar specific heat at constant volume, this is Cv, this is Cp, this is given by the quantity of heat required to increase the temperature of 1 mole of a gas by 1 degree centigrade temperature. Among the substances, solids, liquids and gases, it is found that hydrogen gas has a highest specific heat among the substances. So hydrogen has highest specific heat, C, more than any other gases. As water has highest specific heat, that's why water is used as a coolant in most of these machines. Why? Because to heat water by 1 degree centigrade, we need to supply a lot of heat energy. So this is nearly 4200 joules per kg per Kelvin. Similarly, if you take some other liquid instead of water, those liquids can absorb heat more quickly and their temperature increases more rapidly. But water having the highest specific heat will take or will absorb a lot of heat energy when compared to the other substances. That's why here, why water is used as a coolant in most of the substances? Answer is water has the highest specific heat among the liquids. Calorimetry is nothing but the measurement of heat energy. So we know that if you take any isolated system, what is this isolated system? This is isolated from surroundings. Now if you take a substance, this is a substance which is having some parts here. This is first part, second part, third part, fourth, fifth, like this. If you divide this into so many parts, so these are the different parts: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. So in this system, if there is no exchange between, heat exchange between any part of this system, then it is known as isolated system. That means there is no heat exchange between these two, between this and this surroundings, 2 and 3, 3 and surroundings, 4 and surroundings, 5 and surroundings, 7, 11, whatever may be. If there is no exchange of heat between the system and surroundings, then it is called isolated system. No exchange of heat between system and surroundings, then it is known as an isolated system. But within the isolated system also, there may be exchange of heat between internal parts. This may take place, but no exchange between the system and the surroundings. These are the surroundings. That is nothing but atmosphere only. No exchange between system and surrounding, but within the system exchange may takes place. Generally, the heat exchange takes place within the system. Within the system, now heat exchange takes place from high temperature region to low temperature region. So in this case, if you observe this one, I will denote this with high temperature and low temperatures with different colors. So this is isolated system. Let us say 1 is at high temperature, 6 is at high temperature, 7 is at high temperature, and 10 is at high temperature. So what are the possibilities here? Possibility of heat exchanges. Heat flows from 1 to 2, 1 to 9, maybe 10 to 9, 10 to 11, 7 to 8, 7 to 5, 6 to 4, 6 to 8, 6 to 9, 6 to 2, 6 to 3. So heat always flows from high temperature region to low temperature region within this body. But if this process continues and finally after some time what happens, this will get a thermal equilibrium. The system will get a thermal equilibrium. Means this body which is having different parts previously will have same temperature throughout this body. That means each and every part will have the same temperature. Here, this is having high temperature 1, 10 is having high temperature, 6 is having high temperature, 7 is having high temperature. But after some time, the body will attain thermal equilibrium. Then within the bodies also there will not be any heat exchange. So within the body also the entire system will get thermal equilibrium. Then the exchange of heat between the parts will be ceased out. Then it is said to be under complete isolation. Now in this case, if you observe this one, for example, if you take one ice cube which is at minus 10 degrees centigrade, if it is kept with one iron rod, iron cube, here this is ice cube, this is iron cube, which is at 30 degrees Celsius. Now we know that according to this, according to definition of this temperature itself or heat energy itself, heat is a form of energy which is always flows from high temperature to low temperature. Here heat transfer takes place between iron and ice, from iron to ice. So this is the direction of heat energy, that is from iron to ice. So this exchange will take place till the temperature of ice and iron becomes equal. So when these two are equal, then the ice may melt or the temperature of iron may decrease. So this is called a principle of calorimetry. So while measuring the heat energy, the principle involved is the hot body loses heat energy, the cold body will gain heat energy. So the principle of calorimetry is heat lost by hot body is equal to heat gained by cold body. So this is called a principle of calorimetry. So based on this one, we have a device called calorimeter which is used to measure the heat energy or the specific heat of a body. Now, what is this calorimeter? Calorimeter is a device used to measure heat energy as well as specific heat of a body. This calorimeter consists of a metallic vessel. This is a metallic vessel generally made of copper or aluminum, and it is having a stirrer which is used to stir the material inside this one, and this entire arrangement is kept inside a wooden box. Now in this wooden box, between this copper vessel or aluminum vessel, metallic vessel and this wooden box, a non-conducting glass, generally glass wool or cotton, is placed such that it will oppose the flow of heat from this aluminum or copper vessel to the surroundings. So it consists of a lid through which we can keep this stirrer. So this is the lid provided here. So now a small one more hole will be provided here to keep the thermometer to measure the temperature of this one. So this is the thermometer which is used to measure the temperature of this one. So this is a calorimeter. So calorimeter consists of a metallic vessel, a metallic stirrer, a thermometer, a wooden box with a lid and a glass bowl. This is a glass bowl. Now, how to use this calorimeter to measure the heat energy as well as to measure the specific heat? So I am going to use the concept here. The principle of calorimeter is heat lost by hot body is equal to heat gained by cold body. So in this case, first if I want to wish to find out the specific heat of iron, so I need to take iron in form of small balls. So I need to take iron balls and we have to fill this with water up to half of its volume. Now, in this case, I am going to solve a simple problem. A sphere of aluminum of 0.04 kg is placed for sufficient time in a vessel containing boiling water so that the sphere is at 100 degrees centigrade. So this hot aluminum sphere is then immediately transferred into a 0.14 kg copper calorimeter containing 0.25 kg of water at 20 degrees centigrade. The temperature of water then rises and attains a state of 23 degrees Celsius. Calculate specific heat of aluminum, and it is given specific heat of copper is 0.386 into 10 power 3 joule per kg per Kelvin. Here, let me take this copper calorimeter. This copper calorimeter consists of copper plus some water here. Now, the hot aluminum sphere, which is at initially at 100 degrees centigrade, is transferred into this one. So, a aluminum sphere is placed inside this if you observe this diagram, heat lost by this hot aluminum is equal to heat gained by water and copper calorimeter. Why? Because the heat taken from this aluminum sphere will not go to the surroundings, as it is an isolated system and no heat exchange takes place between the system and the surroundings on all sides. And on the top also, it is having a wooden top, so it will not allow the heat to transfer outside. Now, the principle of calorimetry is heat lost by hot body is equal to heat gained by cold body. Now, we are using the same concept. In this case, heat lost by aluminum sphere is equal to heat gained by water plus copper calorimeter. Here heat will be gained by two different materials, heat gained by water plus copper calorimeter. In this case, first let me find out the heat lost by aluminum. we know that specific heat is given by Q by M delta T. So what is the heat gained or lost here? This is the product of mass into specific heat into temperature. So now equation I am writing heat lost by aluminum sphere is equal to heat gained by water plus heat gained by copper calorimeter. So this is the equation. Now let me substitute these values. Q is equal to ms delta theta, that is mass of aluminium, specific heat of aluminium, change in temperature for aluminium is equal. For water I can write mass of water, specific heat of water, change in temperature of water, mass of copper, specific heat of copper, change in temperature of copper. So this is the expression. Now let me substitute the values. Before writing this one I need to write the data before substituting this one. What is the mass of aluminum in this problem? A sphere of aluminum is this much. So I am writing this as 0.047 and the specific heat of aluminum, that only we are finding. I am finding specific heat of aluminum. This is the unknown value. And what is the change in temperature? Initial temperature of aluminum is 100, and when it is kept inside this water which was at 20 degrees centigrade initially, rises the temperature to 23. So the final temperature attained is 23. So the aluminum sphere which was at 100 degrees Celsius will reach a temperature of 23 degrees at a steady state. So this is 100 minus 23 degrees Celsius. So this is mass into specific heat into decrease in temperature, because it is heat lost by aluminum. So higher temperature minus lower temperature, loss of temperature. Now mass of water in this case is given by, it is then immediate transport to this much copper calorimeter having this much water. So this is 0.25 into specific heat of water, even though it is not given, this is a constant, 4.18 into 10 power 3. And what is the change in temperature of water? Initially water was at 20 degrees centigrade and the temperature increased to 23. So what is the gain in temperature of water? 3 degrees from 20 to 23. So this will be 23 minus 20 plus, this is a heat gained by water. What is the heat gained by copper calorimeter here? Mass of the copper calorimeter is 0.14. So I am taking this as 0.14 into 0.386 into 10 power 3 into. So this is given in the bracket 0.386 into 10 power 3 joules per mole kg per Kelvin for copper calorimeter. And even the temperature of the copper calorimeter also increased from 20 to 23. So this you can write 23 minus 20. Now by simplifying this equation we can find out the specific heat of aluminum. Specific heat of aluminum is given by this value 3 into 1.045. So this will become 3.45, 3 is 90, 135, 3.145 plus this is 0.42 into 0.386. So we can write this as 0.42 into 0.386, which is equal to 0.16212 divided by, now you bring this and this to the denominator, 0.047 into 77. So specific heat of aluminum is, now you add these two, you will get 3.21, you will get 21 as it is, 5 plus 2 7, 6 plus 4 10, and this will be 3 divided into 10 power 3 by 0.047 into 77. So the specific heat of aluminum is 3.30 divided by this 3.30712 divided by 0.047 divided by 77. This is 0.911, 0.91 into 10 power 3 joule per kg per Kelvin.